listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Queen here. We're back with episode 65 of the Money Monopolizers podcast, and I'm here with my co-host, Marlon Walls. Marlon, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great, bro. I see you rocking that shirt. Hey, you got the long sleeve. Yes, sir. Long sleeve, short sleeve. I love this black, bro. Like this, you know, black always form fit. I like it a lot more. Like this, you just feel different. So definitely glad we got these shirts out. Finally got them on and stuff like that. But everything's been good for the most part. And I know I told you last time about the mobile home. We about to have that rented out because we got 2 applications in last week, and so one of those are probably gonna hit and we'll be good to go. But there's one thing that I learned about this past week that I don't even know if you've seen it yet, but Clubhouse. This app, bro, is like, it's about to be a game changer. Like for anybody who doesn't know what it is already, it's like the next social media app that I feel like is about to take off. I think they debuted back in like July. I didn't know about it until this past week, but that app literally is like going to conferences. Like you can, it's about whatever you want to learn about. Like if it's real estate, if it's entrepreneurship, if it's anything, honestly, that's just what I've been going into. But it's like anybody who's like an influencer, you can go into their conference room and listen in on what they're talking about at any given moment. So I know people have been putting out like different conferences, not conferences, but courses, webinars and stuff like that, where they do this type of talking. But now this is literally an app that does that type of activity. So definitely I'd recommend anybody checking that out because it's very addictive, honestly. I've been on it like crazy this past couple of days since I knew about it. So I highly recommend it. But other than that, everything else has been good on my end. But that's a game changer for me because I feel like this is going to be a great opportunity for networking and stuff.
Nah, for sure. That's dope. I did see a lot of people was, especially on Twitter, they was going crazy about it. And I know when I first saw about it last month, but they was talking about like invite only, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, it's one of those kind of things where it's like, people, going to use it to like kind of create, some cliques and stuff. But it sounds like, just based on how you're describing it, that there's a lot more to it than what I had just perceived about it. So I'm going to definitely have to check that out. I honestly thought it was going to be something I was like, yeah, that's probably, I've seen so many apps over the past like couple of years that just kind of came in and then they fade away. This one's still new, so we'll see. It didn't really get popping until maybe last month, if we're being honest. So let's see how it goes over the next 6 months. See if it can last, because it's really hard for an app to come in and take over people's time from Instagram and Twitter and now TikTok. And I'm not gonna lie, TikTok is kind of like, I got on there because I was posting like flips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like transformations, and then I would just go on the, like, they call it FYP page or For You page, where you just like see stuff. And I was like, dang, this is low-key addicting, because it's like, you just seeing videos, and it's like people on there are mad creative. Like they are on there making movies and like all this crazy stuff just off of their phone. I'm like, golly, this app. That one I had to delete it because I was like, nah, that's taking up too much of my time. So, but now it's like so many of these big apps where it's like people are, they're taking all of your attention. So for me, this just seems hard for a new app to come.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, because I've been thinking about that same thing. I'm like, as far as the timepiece, like that app is gonna take a lot of my time. I already guarantee you, because I literally the past couple of days, like I'm just listening. It's like it's like a live podcast almost. It's really dictated by how you use it. Some people may use it just to talk about a lot of BS. I'm using it just like to continuously build my knowledge and listen to different influencers either we aspire to get on a podcast or we aspire to even, I don't know, just like learn from in general. So that's kind of why I've been using it. So I think it's addictive to me in that sense, that it's like pretty much free game. And like I said, it's at the early stages right now. And I know you said invite only, and that's because right now they're at a beta stage, and they're actually only allowing iPhone users to use it too. So that's just a couple things I learned about it over this past week. But yeah, I definitely recommend it, but it's going to be very addictive.
Nah, for sure. I'm going to have to check it out. But yeah, man, other than that, man, we got a lot going on. So excited to kind of end this year. We got 2 weeks left in the year. So today is December 16th. Yes, we are recording this the day before it comes out. Because of some other things that happened this past weekend with a guest that we were trying to get on the show, which ended up falling through. Should I say who it is? Nah, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say.
All that.
I ain't gonna say who it is. We ain't gonna say. I was just playing. We ain't gonna say who it is. But that person will likely not be making an appearance on this podcast because of this said event. But anyways, so yeah, we're recording this on Wednesday, but we are definitely excited to wrap up this year and go into 2021 really strong. I'm got a lot planned for 2021 as far as content and branding, and even kind of how the direction that I want to take some things as far as just building my brand and all that kind of stuff. So we got a lot going on, but I'm episode 65, man, we've come a long way. We've done, 65 episodes. That's I remember when we first started, we were saying, hey,
the goal was 5.
We gotta get to 5 episodes.
The goal was 5
because usually that's where podcasters, I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a podcast on the charts and I click on it, or not the charts, but I see someone's podcast and I click on it and I scroll back and they had 5 episodes. I'm like, man, they only made it 5 episodes, because it's most people can't make it through that grind of those episodes. I could tell you some of them early episodes, boy, we was getting how many plays? We was getting 40 plays on some of them episodes in the beginning. So, just sticking to it, staying consistent. Now we getting 1,000 listeners a week now, over 1,000 listeners a week now. So it's dope, man. We looking to continue to grow in 2021, and we got a lot planned for y'all. So excited. But man, these 60s though, these are the ugliest numbers. I hate. I was talking to you this about the other time. The 60s are just, I don't know. They just, you remember in football too, if you weren't a lineman or you weren't on the O line or the D line and they gave you a 60 number, boy, you had to be just cheese to get one of them 60 numbers. That's kind of how I see these episodes of the 60s. They just, the numbers are ugly, but I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but.
No, it's good. We halfway through though, so just keep grinding them out. We'll be in the 70s.
Halfway through to what?
Halfway through 60s. This is 65.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Got 5, 4 more? 5 more?
Yeah, yes. So episode 100, I can't wait. We're gonna have to do something big for that. But we'll see in 35 weeks.
Right.
What we'll do. But yes, man, let us get into this episode. So for today's episode, real quick, before I said that, I did want to say, just because I meant to kind of give a shout out to our top 5 cities that people have been listening to us in real quick. I wanted to, because it was honestly kind of the recent of the past, I would say 90 days, it was kind of surprising to me to see the top 5. But overall, our top 5, well, okay, so out of our probably since, I don't know, I would say September, a big portion of our demographic has shifted from Texas to Atlanta. Actually, so we got a lot of listeners out in Atlanta now. But as far as our top 5 all time, it is still going to be based in Texas because that's where we are. So obviously, a lot of people that we know listen. And so, rounding out the top 5, at number 5 is Philadelphia. Shout out to Philly. We get 2% coming from there. Dallas is number 4. Shout out Dallas. I don't know, what's the Dallas area code? I don't remember. Shout out to Dallas. 2% coming from there. ATL is number 3, and they have, taken a big leap over a lot of other cities. So they passed up Manhattan. Manhattan was in our top for a lot. They passed up Austin. Austin was in our top, and they passed up Chicago. Chicago used to be in our top. So yeah, Atlanta number 3, H-Town number 2. Shout out to Houston, the home base, and number 1 is San Antonio. So
what's the percentage for San Antonio?
It's actually very close to. They're both 5%. So
that's wild.
ATL is 5% of our listeners.
5% of the listeners that gets you to 1%. That's pretty crazy. It's pretty diverse overall. Then.
Yeah, it's honestly, if we're being honest, San Antonio and Houston are pretty much the same. Maybe San Antonio's 40 plays ahead of Houston, so they're both about 5%. So shout out to Houston. I'm sure Houston's going to pass San Antonio because Houston's so big, much bigger than San Antonio, and we are, as we continue to grow, more people are going to be located in Houston and Atlanta. So San Antonio, shout out to y'all, everybody that's listening in San Antonio that knows me. Then I know I appreciate y'all supporting. Even in Austin, I know a lot of people from Austin that I know are listening to. So shout out to y'all, man. I just really want to thank y'all for continuing to listen to us as we go about the journey. And I'm hoping we're providing a ton of value, man. That's the goal. Since episode 1, it's always been to provide value. We never wanted to come on here and ask for money. We never wanted to do none of that. It was just to provide value to y'all. So, anyways, let's get into this episode.
Yep.
So, this episode is, I would say before we get started, some toes might get stepped on in this episode. Some toes may get stepped on. But as I like to do, I always like to be candid and keep it 100. So that's the plan. It's just to keep it 100. But if some toes get stepped on, hey, move your feet. But anyways, this episode was kind of inspired over some events that have been transpiring over the last few weeks, right? So as of recent, I've been getting a ton of DMs just on Instagram, just a ton of DMs. As I continue to post content and do things and try to build my brand more, a lot of people that are interested in business, real estate, whatever you want to call it, financial freedom, a lot of people have been reaching out to me and asking me questions. And before I say anything about that, well, the thing about social media that I realize is that, and this is something I've come to a conclusion of this year, is that social media is like you form relationships with people better than you even do in real life. Because a lot of people you follow on social media, you see them every day on social media. And so you start to even know these people and form better relationships with them than you would than people in real life. However, now I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. I'm talking especially for younger people. This is really the case for my age group, like people in their 20s and low 30s. But what happens is a lot of people you follow, a lot of people that you feel like you have a relationship with, you might know them, but they don't know you because either they're a content creator and you're a content consumer, or they're a celebrity and you're not a celebrity. So what happens is you start to kind of feel like you're knowing this person a lot more and more and more, but these people don't necessarily, it's not reciprocated. They're not getting to know you. And so I say all that to say is a lot of people, and I'm not saying this to say like I'm big on social media or anything like that. Like, I mean, I barely got 1,000 followers. That's not even, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying what happens and what I notice is that a lot of people want me to kind of help them on their journey to financial freedom and help them with real estate or help them with something with their business or something like that, right? And look, I'm all for helping people and giving people value. My whole thing is that if you are not providing value to me, what incentive is there for me to help you, right? So Marlon, if I came to you and I said, hey, you never met me. You don't even know my name. You don't even know that you followed me, right? And I'm not saying everyone does it, but if I came to you and I said, hey man, I love what you're doing, man. You're doing so much. You're so inspiring. I would love to kind of pick your brain, grab some coffee with you. Yeah, right. I'd love to pick your brain, grab some coffee, grab a beer. What would you say to that?
I'm gonna break that down for you. So when I
No, what would you say?
I gotta put it with context, bro. Like,
no, just say what you
it
say.
depends on when you're talking about. There's this time, so times change people's responses. So if you asked me this 5 years ago, maybe I'm like, oh yeah, cool, that's what's up. We can do that. Today is a different story because you are one out of more than likely 50, 100 other people that want a coffee for happy hour at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So I don't have that many hours or that many hours in my week to answer everybody's can we get a coffee. So my response is going to be, let me know what questions you have. I can probably answer them over or like through message or something like that, but I'm not going to volunteer my time right now at this moment. And that's just how it is because I don't have that much time no more.
So essentially you would say, I'm not going to grab coffee with you. I'm not going to grab
I'm not getting no more. I've coffeeed out.
Why? Because they are not providing anything in return to you, right? Because it's not to say that you. He said I'm coffeeed out. It's not to say. It's not to say that you don't necessarily, you know. Okay, how do I say? It's not to say that you don't, care to know who they are or anything like that. But if they didn't come to you with any sort of value or with any sort of proposition, then what incentive do you have? You, a busy person that has real estate, the mobile homes, the podcast, content creation, all this stuff going on, and I didn't mention everything. All this stuff going on.
Oh, you sure did. That was insulted low key.
All this stuff going on. Why would you take time out of your day to go sit with this person that you've never even met? And let's even take it a step further. Why would you even spend time out of your day to even send them DMs, respond to their DMs? Like if they ask you
it's gonna be limited amount of responses. I'm not teaching you the whole real estate game over text message either. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that we have an infinite amount of podcasts you can go check out.
Exactly.
I'm gonna send you resources. I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth with you though.
And that's my thing with a lot of people. A lot of people don't understand that. Look, in order to get anything from anyone, it's all about adding value to them. You can get whatever you want from anyone in this world if you add enough value. Value is different for everyone. Value changes. There's levels of value. If you come to me, it's a different value than if you were coming to Grant Cardone or Damon John. You might have to provide them more value to get a meeting with them than you would have to me, obviously, than you would with me, right? It's values, it's different values of everyone, right? But when someone comes to me and they're like, hey, man, the craziest thing that people say is, can you mentor me? That is the craziest thing I hear. And like, I understand it's from a good, innocent place where it's like, you want to learn, you want to, further your financial freedom. And I'm a proponent of you doing that. Obviously, that's the reason you're coming to me. And, I'm not saying people do this, but people that have, relationships with you might say, can you mentor me and those kind of things. And it's like, bro, you're giving me, what happens is that by you coming to me, you're giving me a job now. You're giving me, you just gave me enough. And by the way, it's not even a paid job. You just came to me and added another thing to my plate. And now I have to, try to make time for you, or, you're going to look at me as if I'm selfish or I don't want to kind of do this or I don't want to help you. No, it's not that. It's just that I don't have 1,000 hours in a day. I only have 24. And to me, I spend my time doing high value tasks only. Being a mentor to you is not a high value task to me. Responding to your questions via DMs is not a high value task. Me going get coffee and beer, and by the way, I don't even drink coffee and beer. So people that keep asking me, can we grab a coffee or beer? Dude, I don't even drink coffee or beer. So it's like, at least, my whole thing is just, let me get to it in a minute, but like, what can you do? Figure out what you can do for people. Figure out what they need and give it to them. That's the thing. It's like, and it's not their job to figure out what they need. And I'm not telling you go ask them, hey, what do you need? What do you want me to do? No, you figure out what that person needs and you give it to them, and they're going to be 100%. Maybe not. I'm not okay. I had to say that. It's not guaranteed to say they're gonna give you what you want, but they're gonna be a lot more inclined. I would say at least venture to say 50% more likely that you would, be able to get what you want out of this person if it's someone that's, accessible. I'm not telling you go DM LeBron, hey, LeBron, you have time for a coffee. You'll be delusional.
You mentor me on how to play basketball better.
Yes.
But no, that's kind of what it feels like in a way, because you see somebody who's doing well for themselves in a particular field, and you feel like, since you may like you mentioned earlier, since they've been following you, well, I guess I don't know which perspective to speak from. If I'm speaking from the person who wants help, for instance, I've been following this person for X amount of time, and they've been posting so much content, and maybe posting like some personal stuff, like just like adding value to me in ways where I feel like I know them. So now I feel close. I feel comfortable enough to go reach out to them and say, "Hey, I love what you've been doing, because I feel like I know you so well. Hey, bro, you've been hooking me up with all the content. Like, I'm looking to take the set next level and like get more value for myself." But the problem is that you're going in with a me mentality, like a me. It's like, what can you do for me? Like you were saying, you need to be adding value. And I wanted to mention earlier that value is all about perception. It's not so much just about, I mean, so not one. It's not one of two things. It's not going to them and saying, "What can you do? What can I do for you?" That's also a job, like you mentioned, and it's also not consistent all the way across the board. So, like you mentioned earlier, what may be valuable for me may not be valuable for you, and it also may not be valuable for somebody bigger like Grant Cardone. So you may say you have a skill such as marketing some content. If I already have a marketer, I don't need your services. So not that's no so you can't offer that in particular. What you need to be doing instead is figuring out what are they lacking. So if you've been spending all this time learning, like listening to them and listening to all their content, you need to be taking that time to like point out what are they not doing to the best of their ability. There's probably nobody has a perfect system, I promise you. And so you need to be able to be like a detective for a second and say, where are they lacking that I could add my services to? If you don't have that service that they're looking for, go. That's what Google's for. Google and YouTube, you can get any and everything that you need to know right now, and offer that. So now you can provide them and say, hey, I see that you doing all this really well. Like I see you're putting out content every day, content creation. I see you doing deals over here, but I noticed that you're lacking in this particular area. Or I noticed that this particular area you could probably like you utilize my services, or I could probably help in some way to add value in this particular area. I would do it for free because I just want to help you achieve your goal. If you offer like free services, first of all, you didn't tell them to go find you a task to do, and second of all, you're offering them more of their time back. That is going to, well, especially for people that have busy schedules, their time is almost more important than money. Like you can say I'll pay you to mentor me, but that's not. But like I said, value is all about perception. They may not perceive that money as important at the time. They perceive their time as more important. So now, if you offer them time instead of offering them money, they may be like, "Oh yeah, I love that." If you can show them that you're credible at the same time, now they'll really be more inclined to even work with you. And that's the type of approach you need to be taken to it.
Man, okay. There's three things I want to hit on that you said too. So first thing is that there was one girl that reached out to me, I think last week actually, and she DM'd me, and she has bought my course, and she's taken the course, and she's went through the course. First of all, and before I even say that, if you're coming in the DMs asking me real estate questions and these kind of things, it's like, yo, I got a course right here for this reason. The reason the course was created was to answer the 10,000 same questions I get over and over, right? Because I'm not going to keep answering DMs. Now you can have that information without me having to sit there and give it to you directly. I'm in the course. I'm sitting there on a video and I'm talking to you. So you're gonna be getting the same information from me. I promise you, there's nothing I'm gonna tell you differently that's not in that course. So that's the first thing. But second thing is that I'm glad you mentioned the time thing too, because that is huge, right? So there was this girl that hit me up in the DMs like last week, and she was, like I said, she bought the course, and she was talking about how, you know, she was asking me some questions about real estate and those kind of things. Number one, I'm a lot more inclined to answer questions if you've already, bought the course and those kind of things, because I know, you're not just one of those tire kickers. For people that don't know, a tire kicker is someone that will constantly act like they're interested in do all these things, and you go to buy a used car and you're kicking the tires, you kick in the car, you shaking the car back and forth, you sitting in the seats, you making sure it fits, and then at the end of the day, the salesman says, "Oh, so let's go sign the papers," and you're like, "Actually, I'm good. I don't want this car," and you just wasted all his time. Those are tire kickers. My pet peeve are tire kickers. One of my pet peeves is tire kickers. And so, where was I going with that thought? So she said, she came to me and she DM'd me and she said some other things, but I was answering some of her questions. But before I even answered, she said, also, I see that you're very busy. I see that you have, real estate, trucking, cleaning business going on, those kind of things. I would be happy to provide free VA services for you if you may or may not need that, right? If you do need that, and I would be happy to give you some 3 or 4 hours per week for free to help free up some tasks. And in exchange, I could kind of see how you do things in each of your businesses and the processes. I was blown away.
I already know. I thought that was like just a sample story, not even a real thing.
No. I was like, man,
dang, that's good.
It felt like she was proposing to me. That's how excited I was, because I was
and
like,
that's
man.
how much value you got out of that type of message that was catered in that type of format. That, because like I said, value is perception. Somebody else may have been like, bro, I'm good on that. Like, I'd rather get money. But if they've been listening and they learn what makes you tick, they like, bro, he's a busy guy. I see all the stuff he's doing. Let me help that man out by taking some time, giving him some of his time back, bro.
And it's a mutualistic. Remember, we all remember 5th grade science: parasitic, mutualistic, and symbiotic relationships. That is a mutualistic relationship. She is providing me time, helping me buy back my time so I can focus on other things, and she's learning my processes and systems that are proprietary to me so that she can implement them into her business and grow her businesses. So I'm like, yo, I'm all for that. You talking about free too? You know what I told her? I said, I'm not looking for VA services right now, but when I am in 2021, you will be number one on my list, just because of the way you came and approached me with a value proposition. So that it's all about a value proposition. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. So the second thing that you had mentioned too, in that what you just commented on, it was the thing about the perception is like, if you talk about money, right? So to me, I had tweeted this last week. I had my first paid consult last week with a guy that had I just have it in the bio. I don't market like, oh, if you want a paid consult, book here. I don't market it. I just put it in the bio because some people will see that as like, oh, if I want to get some good info from this guy, I better book a paid bio, not just DM him, which is the appropriate approach. And so he did that, and it just came up on my schedule random. I was like, oh, okay, nice. And that was the first one I did. But to me, it's not about the money. I don't need your money. That's not why I charge $150 an hour for a paid consult. That's not the reason. It's because we did a 30-minute consult for $75. Now, the reason it's charged is because he's to me, the value is like, okay, in that particular case, it was, he's paying because, I'm giving him my time. So yes, that's what he's paying for. But that a lot of people will look at that as like, man, you're charging $150 an hour for a paid consult. You are crazy. And it's like, bro, you don't know. That's not what I'm charging for. I'm charging for everything I've been doing for the past 3 years. I'm charging for all the studying I've done on the businesses and real estate and everything I've been doing. That's what the guy's paying for. He's not paying for those 30 minutes. He's paying for the thousands and hundreds of hours that I put into doing what I do in my craft, which I'm trying to perfect. And if you see value in that, then you book the consult. If you don't, I'm not going to just keep answering questions for free. That's, it's crazy to me. So that's what people need to understand. And then the thing about the last thing I want to talk about with perception too, because this is something, and this is why I say I might step on a toe here or there, because what I noticed, and Marlon, we've had this conversation, but we've never spoke about this on the podcast. But I'm feeling a little I'm feeling a little out there today. So my whole thing was, let's picture this scenario, right? A guy DMs you and a girl DMs you, right? And so you already laughing. I can't say nothing because you already know where I'm going.
No, I'm just laughing already just because I feel like I know where you're going. So
I know that's why. So let's say a guy DMs me and let's say they both say the same thing, right? Remember, value is perception. A guy DMs me, he both says the same thing. They both say the same thing. A guy says, "Hey, I would love to take you out to lunch, and talk some real estate with you." I'm gonna be like, "Oh, okay." I may or may not respond, right? That's just how it goes. Now, if a woman says the same thing, "Hey, I would love to, take you out to lunch or go out to lunch and talk some real estate," and she's an attractive woman to me, I am going to be a lot more inclined to take her up on that proposition, right? Can we be 100? Can we keep it 100 and be candid? I'm not going to come up on here and talk fake and be fake. I want to keep it 100 because and I'm saying this to emphasize values perception. To me, there is value in going out with this young lady that I find attractive, right? Not because of real estate or whatever the case may be. It's because I find her attractive and I like attractive women. That's value to me. Value is all based on perception. To this guy, if I don't see any value in any other way besides what you're telling me, if you don't have any credibility behind what you're saying, like, oh, you've done real estate or anything like that, and I don't feel I can get anything of value from that, I'm not gonna be inclined to that. But with this woman that I think that I see as, attractive, it's value. That's value to me because I, am now, trying to figure out how to say this. I can't talk how I'll be talking.
enticed.
I'm trying to say this the PC way. But yes, let's say enticed. I'm now, more enticed to take her up on that, or it's gonna be it's a better offer for me because I mean, who doesn't, like going out with attractive people? If I'm in my case, a single man that is courting, I'm a single man that is courting women, that's value to me. So it's all about value is perception, right? I'm not, you need to figure out what value you can offer. And that a lot of people will hear that and hate me. We probably got
I'm gonna say that. So the moral of the story today, guys, is that if you are an attractive young female that's ambitious and looking to get into real estate or a business, this is how you approach it. This is how you approach him and get some success in his DMs.
hey, and real quick, Marlon's 100% right. He said attractive and ambitious. That's the key. I'm telling you, the couple times, and I'm not even trying to give out too much info, but whenever that happens, it is when those type of women do DM me, it's a different story because I'm, the value is there in multiple ways, physical attraction and ambition. So it's like, man, that's I say all that to say is, whatever you have to offer is, you need to figure out if that's valuable to that person.
No, I get you 100%. And that's really keeping it real. Like, you have to know what, like, if you are really trying to get this person's time, attention, or whatever, you need to really do your homework and figure out what are they looking for. Once you figure that out, if you have those qualities, then you have a very good chance of getting that person's attention or getting whatever you wanted out from them. But if you don't, either you have to find it, like figure out how you can provide that particular type of value, or look somewhere else. Like if you're a guy, I don't think Alex is looking for those type of people. if you're a guy and you're still looking for help from Alex in this case, then what you need to do is figure out, okay, I can't offer him everything he's looking for, obviously. So what is he looking for now that I may be able to be of value to him, and then maybe we can go about it that way. Just because, like, there's gonna be, like I said, no business is perfect. So there's multiple things that are missing. There's like holes all throughout. You can think of it like a big blank canvas. There's holes all throughout. Your job is to patch up the hole, which will patch up at least one hole. Where can you be of service in this instance? So you may say, no. So any guy can reach out and say, I don't mind being a VA for you. Any guy may reach out and say, I will market deals for you in real estate. Like I can be like a wholesaler and provide you with deals because I have this experience in this area. I mean, just it can be anything like that, but you have to figure out what that is. Those are just examples. Those may not even be Alice's examples. Those could be anybody's examples. But you need to figure out what is that person looking for that you are trying to target, and then be able to provide that value or service to them in exchange for what you're looking for. You got to go in with a give mentality before you're looking to receive. Don't go in there saying, oh yeah, man, I love what you're doing. I see how you put in a lot of time, but I need you to set aside this hour for me. This is my time right now. So give me an hour. Cause this is what it's gonna feel like. You're coming up to somebody who, like we said already, is doing 15 different businesses or high income activities, and you're literally coming in there to tell them, I know you're busy. I really don't care. I need an hour of your time and hopefully a mentorship. I don't know if they offered to you to pay you or not for the mentorship. If they didn't,
of course not.
then that's super non-valuable to that person because like I said, you're going against the time value that busy person's looking for. They already busy enough, and now you're saying give me more of your time for free at that. So it's like I have no interest in doing something like that because I don't want to add nothing else to my plate as it is. If I do, I want to get something in return for it as the person that you're trying to approach.
Yes. And that's the thing, man. That's the thing we got to understand. It's all about going in with as humans, as people, we all try to stay what's in it for us. I mean, we all do it, right? Everything we do before we accept anything, we want to figure out what's in it for us. So if you're going to someone that's in a position that you want to be in, or whatever the case may be, anything, this is applicable to anything, right? Even if you're talking to your kids, right? Even if you try to get your kids to go to, I need to read the book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Great book about negotiation, but that's applicable to even every situation in life. It's not even with business or mentors, and it's like you talking to your spouse, you talking to your kids, you talking to friends, you talking to your boss. It's about adding value to them. People, when they see that you take interest in them, they will be a lot more inclined to take interest in you. You have to take interest first, though, especially if you're the one coming.
If you're looking for something, especially if you're looking for something in return, you should be going and asking, can they do something? Can you do something for that person before you even ask for anything? That's kind of what I think you're going with that.
Yeah, because my thing is like, and look, if I'm trying to get my kids to go to sleep, I'm not going to tell them. Well, I mean, I'm not telling anybody how to parent, but my whole thing is if I'm trying to get something from my kids or get them to do something, I know I have to entice them somehow, some way, incentivize them somehow, some way. It's basic, psychological human, desires. That's just what we as people want. If I'm trying to sell something on social media, I know I can't just put some words on I'm not saying, I'm saying in general, I just can't put some words on a shirt or put something on it without having done anything prior to that has added value to people. I need to have something behind, the business or a brand or whatever the case may be that shows that, this represents something, or, people see value in it for whatever reason they see value in it. Man, it's something I've been wanting to address honestly for the last year. But it just got a lot more prominent now, of course, as the podcast grows and those kind of things, more people reach out and those kind of, I love it too. I'm not sitting here and saying don't DM me or anything at all. Like, look, I'm always happy to, converse with people and talk to people and, have a conversation. I'm just don't, expect the world. That's
just
the whole thing.
Giving somebody a better approach to come at you, not even to come at you, but if you're looking for anybody, not just you, but anybody that you think could be some type of guidance or mentor figure, like if you want to reach out to somebody like that, this is how you should be approaching. And that's it. And honestly, like you were saying, it works in all aspects of life. Because I was thinking of an example when you are in school and your parents want you to do good in class. One thing my parents did for me when I was in like high school or middle school, or whatever, they would say, okay, if you get an A, or if you get all A's, I'll give you $5 for every A. When I get to school, I'm in the books, like I'm head first in the books. I'm like, bro, I'm about to get my $5 each day because that's $35. I'm pocketing that. That's good money right there.
Because at that age, $35 was valuable to you.
Exactly. So they got to know what makes my son tick. I think I've noticed from prior knowledge or just from watching him, he likes money.
I've studied him.
So I've studied what he likes and doesn't like, and I know that money will entice him to do well in certain areas. So I want him to do good in this particular area. So I'm going to give him what he wants in return for him giving me what I want. I want him to get good grades, and in return, I'll give him something that he likes. That's that mutualistic relationship you were talking about. And it works in, like you said, multiple aspects. I was just thinking, I think you talked about social media with just like putting words on a shirt. You can't just out of the blue, like say I'm about to start a clothing business and say, okay, put these words on the shirt, everybody should buy it. The problem is nobody knows nobody knows your brand, and nobody knows why they should represent you. At the like, what are you offering them, and saying, like, why would they want to buy something from you and they know nothing about you? And so now it's like, they have no trust, you have no credibility or whatsoever. So you're coming to them pretty much saying, give me money because I gave you a shirt. The shirt may not be what they're looking for. They're looking for, what does it represent? So goes back to that research. You need to give them a reason or figure out what they're looking for, and then provide that. And like, pretty much just add value before you try to get something in return.
That's the name of the game, man. It's add value, add value, add value. I promise you can never go wrong. There's not, like, if you think, man, is this enough? Do they need this? I mean, you try that, and if you don't get a response, it wasn't enough. There's no such thing as too much value. Keep adding value until you figure out what these people need, and you be good, man. You be good. So. But yeah, I wanted to get into that today because it was timely, man. It was timely. It was needed. The people needed to hear this because I need us to be better. I need us to do better in terms of, how we do life and how we approach people and those kind of things. So take this, apply this to every aspect of your life, and I promise you will start hearing a lot more yeses and getting people to do what you want. This is literally the formula to everything in life. It's come from a service perspective, and in terms of giving, and you'll be able to receive. Well, yes, man. That's it for this episode, man. Well, any other closing statements you'd like to make before we kind of get out of here?
Anybody who heard Alex's example earlier, that's an extreme example, but at the same time, that's an example that won't apply for everybody. But as far as them trying to add value to you, I want to say this is an example that shows exactly what, like, this is like, if you want to be 100% all value, this is what you need to be providing to him. But it's an extreme example that shows exactly what we mean, though, when we say add value. Figure out what they are looking for. Single woman that's attractive. If you that person, you got a chance.
Hey,
you got a much higher chance than non-attractive male at that.
And we're gonna keep it 100.
Let's keep it real.
We're gonna keep it 100. So if you don't like that, you could get this step in.
And if y'all take it the wrong way, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just straight up. That's how it is right now. So
yeah. So
figure out what makes somebody tick, and then play on that.
And that's real. Like, if you one of those people, we could talk. So hit me in the DMs.
Well, all right.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. So yeah, that is it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you gained something of value from this. If you did, we'd appreciate it if you rated us 5 stars, left us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find out more info about us on Twitter at the Monopolizer, or on IG at Money Monopolizers. We post informative content on there that'll keep you engaged, so be sure to check that out and share those posts. But until then, we out of here.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.